Hey there, it's Joy Foster, founder of Tech Pixies, and I'm delighted to be joined today by one of our social media coaches, Sophie Bradley. Now, I love Sophie Bradley. Sophie Bradley's been in the Tech Pixies community for a long time now. She was actually our very first online student. So Sophie, welcome to the show. I'm really delighted that you're here.
Oh, it's so lovely to be here. You know it is. I'm like tech pixie mad, I am.
Well, I love how the Tech Pixies rub off on each other. We're both wearing Scamp and Dude today.
Yeah, look at this. It's amazing. And I've got it pink, and that's because it's on brand for me.
And I've got it blue because it's on brand for me with my stars. And actually, that's a great point. Let me just plug Scamp-a-Dude here for a second. Scamp-a-Dude is going to be on, Joe from Scamp-a-Dude is going to be on the podcast soon. And she's given all of the Tech Pixies and the podcast listeners a discount code. The code is Tech Pixies and one word, just so you all know. And that'll get you 10% off the Scamp-a-Dude clothing, which of course they've got a brand new star suite of clothing. So I'm really excited about that. Anyway, enough about Scamp and Dude. Let's come back to Sophie. So Sophie, I'm so delighted you're here. So you are our Instagram coach, which means you do our Instagram live coaching calls when we run the Instagram week at Tech Pixies, which is always a fan favorite. So why does everyone love Instagram?
Oh my gosh, where do you start? I mean, I could talk for hours about it. Instagram is a wonderful platform for small businesses, particularly that I love working with, and to showcase their products, to showcase their services. It's a very visual platform as well, so it's a really beautiful place to come and feel inspired by lots of accounts, to find out about new accounts to do with design and photography and tech pixies as well. And it's a really wonderful platform for building a community, and I can't go on about this enough. And you know me, Joy, I love community, which is why I love Tech Pixies. But it really is, you can really build an amazing community around you as a brand, but around you on a personal basis, if you're just running a personal account, and you can become part of other people's communities. That is, other people's accounts and their communities, and really get to know people, and get to like people. And it's just, I love it, seriously. And it's actually, there's a lot of, people talk about Instagram being a bit superficial, and it's all about imagery, and but actually it is much deeper than that. And I've developed over the last few years the most amazing community around what I do, and it's the same with Tech Pixies. And I know that people really do come and they champion each other, and they showcase each other on stories, and talk about and do lives together, collaborate together. It's seriously, for community building on an organic level, to build your business. And when I say build a community, it's about building your audience and your community around your business. It's so powerful on an organic level as well. And that's the beauty of it. On an organic level, it works still really, really well. If you know the techniques and the strategies to use, it is so powerful. So I love it. I think you might get that understanding that I do actually really love it. So
I get it, woman. You're amazing. So, but it's so true. It's so true. And actually, not too long ago, episode number 25, we did an interview with Nicole Burke, who's a friend of mine who runs Gardenary Co. on Instagram. And she now, I'm just checking to see how many followers she has. But when I interviewed her, she had 83,000 followers. She now has 147,000 followers. And in that podcast that we did, episode number 25, she talked about community, just like you're talking about community. And it is really interesting, because I think people think, oh, you can only have community in a Facebook group, and you can only have community on Facebook. And that's not true. Instagram has changed, and I do love that aspect of it. And so really, that's a great idea to go into 2021, understanding that Instagram is about community, and that you can build up relationships with people. It's not just about having a following, it's about having an engaged following and engaging with people in that community. So tell us about the 2021 trends, because that's the goal of this podcast really, is to look at Instagram going forwards. And, last year when we did our 2020 trends, we predicted that video was going to be really hot in 2020. Now, no one knew that we were going to be forced into video in the way that we've been forced. But tell us what's happening in 2021 with Instagram.
Well, I wanted to say, just taking one step back, just a little bit, Joy, I hope you don't mind, but I just wanted to say that literally Instagram went crazy in 2020, and it just like pushed out so many different things in 2020. It brought in reels, it brought in guides. It's really, really upped its game in terms of Instagram shops. It brought in, donation and food order and fundraising, story stickers. And there's loads of e-commerce integration on the feed, in stories, IGTV and ads. And I just wanted to put that in because it's about setting the scene in relation to where we're going with Instagram with 2021. So Instagram in 2021 is going to be a lot about in-app shopping. I mean, like huge amount. And I've got some stats here. You know me and stats, but I think it's really important.
Love stats. We love stats.
Yeah, but it's really important to mention it. And it was saying, I'm reading it off my mobile because I won't remember it otherwise, but like 70% of shoppers use Instagram for product discovery, and 130 million users tap on its shopping posts every month to learn more. So what does that tell us? That seriously, as we go into 2021, and Instagram is really massively changing the way the platform is actually, you're able to access shopping. It's got its own, shopping part on the homepage. It's there for you to really engage with it. So if you have a small business, and you have, products that you can actually sell, then you need to be ensuring that you actually do set up a shop and you get involved with Instagram shopping. I mean this seriously. It's big move with Instagram shopping. And they've got, lots of different things that they are going to be using. They've even talked about AR try-on tools. Do you know what I mean? So that you will literally be able to access, AR filters so that you, and tools so that you can, and apps, so that you can actually then, like a pair of sunglasses, you will be able to see yourself wearing those sunglasses.
I love that. I so love that.
So it's going to break down the barriers for your shopping experience. So you'll be able to come onto Instagram and search for products that you want to actually purchase or you're interested in. Find those ones that you like from different accounts, research it, find out about user generated content that those accounts are using, and seeing whether it's for you. You will be able to shop, as you can now, directly through the account itself, linking straight through to their website. But in the US and in other countries, they have actually got, Instagram shopping checkout that has been set up. It hasn't quite hit the UK yet, but it is definitely coming. So we will definitely be able to use the app to literally search for products, search for those accounts, search for products, like them, and try them on virtually, and then move into actually purchasing it through, not just clicking on to go through to the account's website, but actually being able to use it within checkout. Now, I know that might come with some drawbacks and some issues, and that will be something that we'll see as we go along throughout the year. But that, seriously, Instagram shopping, it's something we have to take note of. Small business owners, please, think about it seriously. If you're not using it now, get them on there, because it's so easy. You go on to somebody's post and you see the tab there, you tap on it, there I am tapping on my imaginary mobile phone, but you tap on it and there you see the product and it tells you how much it is, what it is, and then you can tap through for further information. It's so clever.
But I want to stop there for a second, because I think this is really, really important, because of course, everything that Sophie's talking about right now sounds really sophisticated, especially if you're just getting started in Instagram. At Tech Pixies, we always talk about, making sure you've got your foundations correctly set up, making sure your profile is set up properly. You've got the correct usernames across all of your social media networks, that you know how to actually post. Like, how do I do a reel? How do I do a story? How do I do a grid post? So we're just assuming that the person listening to this is either, they've got their foundations, they've done it with Tech Pixies, they've done it somewhere else, but they've got their foundations and now they're looking to enhance that. Or if they don't have their foundations, we want you to definitely make sure you're joining us for our free training, getting our book, whatever you can do to get started, because we want you to have those foundations so that you can do this fun stuff, right? All these extra things which work, they work better when you know the basics, right?
Yeah.
So let's just take a pause for a second and define some things for people who might not be aware of what they are. So Instagram, it's ideal for business to consumer. We do know, and you can tell me more, but we do know that it works for people who are coaches and service providers as well as products. However, the way that they're setting up Instagram is really to drive forward the product side. Is that what you would say?
Yeah, I would say it definitely is, and because of the shopping element to it, and because of the clickable, element that you can go through and then to check out. Yeah, it is, but it does work for services. It does work for, like coaches or social media coaches, life coaches. It does work, but you have to work harder with that, and that is all about visual storytelling and building your brand in that way. And that actually is, I've got it on my list, Joy. Seriously, I have to talk about this. It's actually in there that about visual brand storytelling in 2021. Your brand's Instagram profile is as important, if not more so, than your website. And now that's a big thing to state, but I actually got this from Social Media Today, and they're a really good resource to get information from about all the different social media updates. And I actually believe in that. And it's talking very much about just what you just said, about understanding how to build your Instagram through your posts, through your storytelling, understanding how to make it look visually. And it's not about being, aesthetics over content and meaning. It's not that, but you do have to have that understanding about your branding, about how to create a good post, about how to interact, how to get your message across so that your audience understand what you're about, what your service is about, what your products are about, what your values are about. And it is really important. And that's what, when I go way back to, my beginnings with Tech Pixies, that's what I learned. Okay, I know this isn't about social media trends for 2021, but it is, because I go back and the very first thing that I learned with you was all about branding. And oh my gosh, I know I'm not here to talk about that, but it just set my life alive. And I can't explain to you that branding is so powerful and it's so wonderful, because you can tell your story through the way you talk, the way, all of this. I'm not going to go on about that, but it is really, really key.
No, but branding is really important. But this goes back to, if you're going to do all the really cool, fun, snazzy 2021 trendy stuff, you got to have the basics, ladies. You got to have the basics. And gentlemen, whoever's listening to this, you got to have the basics. And this is where, if you haven't joined the program yet, this is a great opportunity to join the program, Tech Pixies program, because that's what we get you up to speed with the fundamentals. Then you get to do the fun stuff, right? So this is really important to talk about. So let's just go through, just really quickly, let's just go through, defining the grid, defining stories, defining reels, IGTV, and then let's talk about guides. And then we've done a basic overview very quickly of what Instagram is, and then we'll go back to the 2021 trends just to make sure people are completely up to speed.
Well, so posts, you've got different formats of posts. You've got posting on your grid, and you've got posts that go into your stories. You've got your IGTVs. So stories are going to last, up to 24 hours. You can save them, though, into your highlights. You've got IGTVs, which are really sort of a bit like YouTube. So it's a bit sort of off the cuff. It's supposed to be a bit more raw kind of videos that again, they can be posted onto your grid as well. You've got lives as well that are really, really, really powerful, because you come across in such an authentic way when you do a live. It's not pre-recorded, it's not preset. Yes, you can plan for it, And yes, you definitely have to plan for a live. Think about what it is that you're going to be talking about, what your audience are going to get from it, the kind of questions you're going to put out there to the person. And you can do joint lives. And I was talking to you about this, Joy, that with the difficult year that we've had in 2020 and with the pandemic that took place, that actually 70%. There was a 70% increase in the use of lives in 2020. And it's because, people wanted to feel that they were connecting with people and they could see what people were about and hear people's updates, whether it's, about what was going on, with the pandemic or with actually people's businesses and their lives. And we wanted to connect. And that still holds true. It really does. As we go into 2021, we're still working from home a lot more. We're still in these unsettled times. And actually, live broadcasting, so on live Instagram, really, really works well for people to connect with you in that way. And as I said, you can bring people onto your lives and do joint lives. So you're collaborating with others, you're spreading the message.
We've seen a big increase in the collaboration between tech pixies. We've got, once they've started to connect with each other, they've gone through the course, they find other people in a similar space, and then they start talking about interior design together, and they're almost like sharing audiences. And it's this beautiful, this collaboration versus competition is such a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and that's where it comes back to that thing about actually there is enough space for us all. There really is. And that's why having a clear brand and what we're about and a clear, why and a clear USP as well, and that's something that we do at Tech Pixies is talk about all this stuff. Like you said, about having a very clear ground, having our roots really strong and solid from which we can then grow like a tree, and we grow with all our little branches and our leaves, and that's all the fun stuff. But without those roots that are strong, that we know how to post, we know how to create stories, we know how to create IGTVs and why we're doing it, we know why lives work and why people interact with them, we know all this stuff, and then we can go away and we can sparkle. And I genuinely believe that, we really can. So,
well, let's not forget reels and guides. Can you go through those two really quickly?
Yeah, so reels, oh my gosh, went mad in August, and it's Instagram's way of sort of, like, hi TikTok, we're going to be better than you, TikTok. I mean, I don't want I'm talking like that, but it really but it really is.
It's like we went to bed and then we woke up and there was reels, and it was like, what the reel just happened,
Yeah, but the amazing thing is, Joy, is that often with, like Instagram or the different platforms, they push stuff out gradually and you don't get it until, down the line. Everybody got it virtually at the same time. And that showed you they meant business with reels. They understood that TikTok were doing something that was getting a lot of, engagement and use. And then TikTok had its issues, and it was like, no, we're going to get onto this and we're going to do it our way. We're going to make it, I'm not saying it's quite there yet for me personally, but it's en route. It's gone from 15 seconds to 30 seconds. You've got to be short, concise, to the point, creating videos that can be really, really fun. I know some people in the Tech Pixies community love doing it. Can I mention them? Can I mention them?
Yes, do please. They're so good.
So Socially Tracy, this is out to you, because seriously, absolutely love it. I love what she does. I really do. And it's about understanding that reels can be used in a fun way to just sort of, show yourself the way you are. It can be showcasing products. It can showcase the services that you can do. You can create lots of different, ways of doing it, just natural videos or more sort of videos that you create behind the scenes and then you upload it. It's a really powerful tool, and it's a really powerful tool for getting lots of visibility.
Because so episode 52 is where I interviewed Tracy Davenport. So at Socially Tracy on, you started that trend, by the way, I think, the Socially Sophie.
I think I might have. And that was through a Tech Pixie who said to me that actually, because I put out a question, what kind of name, shall I have for my brand? And I put different ones out there. And she said, based on the way you are, that you're really about community, you're really sociable, you're vibrant. She's a lovely person. You know who it is that I'm talking about as well. And she said, go for Socially Sophie B. And I thought, do you know what? I like it. And I know it personalizes it and it makes it just about, but that's fine because that's what I'm about. But no, Reels is so powerful. And if you have a clear strategy behind it, and this is the thing, it's fun. And you can have lots of fun just creating, videos and doing all the different stuff that people are doing out there. But you can have a clear strategy behind it. And that's the thing I always talk about in terms of Instagram usage. It's a lot of fun, but you can have a clear strategy and you'll use it in a way that you'll get your message out to your audience. You'll get them to know you. You'll get them to like you. You'll get them to trust you. And visibility is really good, at the moment because it's relatively new, but also it's really good if you're clever in the way that you use it. I mean, I think I, looked at somebody's reels the other day and they had like 15,000 views on it and they don't have a large following. And that's something I want you to be aware of. They don't have a large following. I think they have 1,500 followers. That's huge visibility in terms of, that conversion is massive and a lot of engagement as well. So it's not just people, playing those reels, they're also actually engaging with it as well, which is really good because that's a way then of building up those relationships with those people, and actually then that's forming your leads and that's part of your funnel, and that's the strategy behind the fun part that I always talk about.
Because people come check you out and then they have an opportunity to follow you or to get a free guide or to get a discount on a product or etc. So and guides, what do you think about guides?
Well, guides is just starting out now. Interestingly, that lots of people put stuff out about guides, but it hasn't really then moved forward as much as I thought it would straight away. But my views on it, as soon as I looked at it, it reminds me of Pinterest in terms of it isn't, but it reminds me of the idea of you create a guide. So you upload, you can create a guide for products, for places, and for services. I think it is. Gosh, I've forgotten what they are. There's 3 categories. That's really bad. And what it is you create those guides by uploading different posts that you've created or that other people have created in relation to their products. So say you could do a small business guide relating to different products, that people produce that you really like and you want to showcase them. And it's a really clever way of doing that because those people will be notified that you've created this guide. You can showcase that guide on your stories. You can showcase it as an IGTV if you wanted to. You could talk about it. You can highlight it as a post as well that you've created a guide. You can put it in your bio as well as a link that people can actually come in and click through to guides that you've created. But it hasn't quite got that push yet that it's being used in that way. People have created them and then they're not quite doing anything with it. They're not quite sure what to do with it because they're not, but they are clickable. So if you create a guide and you upload people's product details, they can click through. So people that can then click through to your bio or click through to your website. So it's an interesting thing that way. And that's what I mean by it has an idea of being a bit like Pinterest, but it hasn't quite got it there because Instagram has put it out there, but because they are focusing on Reels and because they are focusing massively on shopping. So that's another thing that they've got going, and they'll bring more elements into it and more functions, I think, that you'll be able to click directly through to, the website. You'll be able to promote it in a different way. They'll do something like that, but they haven't quite done it yet.
So I have a question. Could you use guides for a lead magnet?
You could use it in terms of, that's what I mean by you could actually create a guide and get people to come through and see what it is that you do as services. So you could have, outlining a list of all the different services that you provide or the different strategies that you use that you want people to come in and find this free guide about social media strategies. And you could have different posts that you put in there that people will actually understand what they could get from Instagram, what they could get from creating reels, what they could get from creating stories, what they could get from.
If they click on that, it goes to your website.
It goes through initially through to your bio.
Okay.
So it goes through to there, but then you could have within your bio, you could have a link that actually then enables them to click through directly to your website. So it's a little bit convoluted at the moment.
I can see where they're not perfect. So
it's not perfect, but But the thing that it's really great for at the moment is notifying others that you've created this, for them to then showcase what it is that you've created. It's a really great way that if you've created, say, loads of social media tips and you've got different posts for it, I'm just going based on what I'm aware of that you can use it for, that actually people can see that guide, they can learn about that, and they can find out more about you. But you need...
It's kind of like a way of collecting. If you've done a whole bunch of posts on your grid and you want to organize those posts into something. So let's say you are a social media manager and you talk about Instagram tips and Pinterest tips and LinkedIn tips. You could actually then create a LinkedIn tip guide, a Pinterest tip guide, an Instagram tip guide,
Yeah,
and you can pull all the grid posts in from the
yeah,
last year that you talk about Pinterest
yeah.
into one. Okay, cool. I
Yeah,
get it now.
because often with that technique, people would often get people to follow a hashtag that they've created in relation, or a branded hashtag that they want people to follow to go and see those tips. Well, actually, you've got a guide, like you said, for Instagram
Got
tips
it.
relating to this, and that way, and therefore you could do it in relation to products that you create. So it could be that you have a certain range of earrings that you want people to know about, and different ranges that are your earrings or your bracelets, or
And this is where Instagram shopping matters, because let's say you do create earrings, okay? And let's say you create hanging earrings and stud earrings. You could create a guide for stud earrings and a guide for hanging earrings. It basically goes back to your feed, and as long as your feed is linked into your shopping, they can shop right there from that
Yeah,
post.
yeah. So that's where no, and it does all interlink, but but guides separately aren't really anything. Well, they are, but they're not quite there yet. But like you said, you've got to sort of do it in a way that you use it for that strategy to get people there. So that's why it is funneling people. It's just not quite as easily visible. And
Okay,
people,
so let's say it's probably not like the number one thing for 2021 for sure, but it's definitely something to explore if you've got the time and the energy and you want to start organizing some of the content you've been creating over the years. Is that
I think it's that, and I think that they will put more into it. It's just that at the moment, it's all about shopping. And therefore, Reels is really important to them because it's taking on TikTok. Reels, they are talking about Reels potentially then having the ads ability within Reels. So therefore, we're coming back again to the shopping element. You have the same thing with IGTV, that you can use them for ads as well. And I know we're not talking about ads here, but it's the same thing. We're bringing, and you have shoppability as well within IGTV as well, so that you can do that. So it's all about, seriously, the number one thing that I read up before coming on here today was shopping. Seriously, that's where it came up. Shopping, shopping,
and I
shopping.
guess what we
Seriously.
need to say is that on a very basic level, if at the moment, because we don't have direct shopping on, and it may come by the time this podcast is out, and it may, if you're listening to this podcast in retrospect, it may have already come out. But at the moment, as of the end of 2020, we don't have the ability in the UK to do a product directly in Instagram. So what you have to do is you have to set up your Shopify shop, or you have to set up your WooCommerce shop. You create your products, and then what you do is you have to set up a catalog, and then you have to put those links in the catalog. The catalog's on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
You connect it to your Instagram account,
Yeah.
right? And we have a guide for that. For all of our students who have done the Social Media Magic program, we have a quick start guide to getting shopping going on Instagram. And I think if someone's listening to this right now and is a tech pixie and has a product and hasn't set up Instagram shopping, that they need to stop this podcast right now, go do it. And if they're not a student yet and they're thinking about joining, well, maybe that's an incentive to join, that we have this quick start guide to get your shopping up and running and off the ground with the catalogs, and we tell you step by step exactly how to do it. But it's essential. If we know that 2021 is going to be all about online shopping, which it is, because guess what? You can't physically go to shops in the same way that you used to be able to. It's not even a pleasant experience, even when you can go back. It's not the kind of experience that we used to have, where you got to experience all the people and the buzz. There's limits to the number of people in the shops now, and you have to wear face masks. So it is going to change, and we are going, and we don't know how long we're going to be like this. So we got to embrace it. We've got to embrace video, and we've got to embrace online shopping. One thing I will say, Sophie, is how do you? Well, maybe you could tell your own personal story on this, but going live is very scary for a lot of people. Creating videos is very scary for a lot of people, but lives are so easy compared to creating an elaborate video. So, I mean, I remember when, you were a student of ours, and then I hired you to help as one of the coaches. And I remember saying to you, right, so now you're a coach, and now you're going to have to do lives in the Facebook group every week. And and I remember the process that you and Beth went through on that. It wasn't easy. So what are your top tips for someone who's really nervous about doing videos and going live?
It's really weird actually, because I did a video on this the other day, and I always think about taking a step back and thinking about what it is that what do I want my audience to get from what it is that I'm going live for. So I'm thinking about that, and then I take a step back again and I think, so what do I want to say to them? And I literally write it down. I've done a video on my feed about this, it's really random, but I literally write down on post-it notes little bullet points about what it is that I'm going to talk about. So I've slowed the whole process down of, oh my gosh, I've got to go live, or I've got to do a video and I'm overwhelmed and I don't know how to do this and I'm going to look ridiculous or sound ridiculous. I don't like this. So I take that step back, and by doing that I take back control and take away that fear actually. So it doesn't become, because I know what it is I then want to say. And I put the bullet point up on post-it notes, and I literally pop them around in front of my screen so that I have number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, and I keep it really simple. So I'll only have 5 points that I want to talk about. And then I set myself up. I literally do. I sit there and I test it. I trial doing videos. I will put my mobile on a tripod and I will sit there and talk away and listen to myself and look at myself, and I'll delete it then. So this is trialing on videoing before I even get to a live, and I will literally delete if I don't like it, and I will delete, and that's fine. But what I'll do is I'll learn from what I'm doing and think, actually, do you know what? I didn't sound that bad. And actually, I don't look that bad. And actually, the most important thing is that I love what I do and I want people to learn. And, if I had a product, I love what I create. So therefore, I want people to share in that. And if I don't share this, I'm actually doing them a disservice. That sounds really arrogant, but it's true.
No, it's true. It's so true. And I that thought hit me when we decided to do a December free training. And of course, now this will be coming out in January. But I almost didn't do one. And I was, we were going to just hold off and wait until February. And I decided to do it at the last minute. And there's some amazing women going through that program right now, and I'm speaking, obviously if you're listening to this, it's already finished, but we're watching transformation happen right before our eyes. And the thought did occur to me halfway through running it, that if I had chosen not to do it in December, that we wouldn't have reached those women's lives until, let's say, January or February, and it's so incredible, to be able to see someone's confidence come up so quickly. And, I think like for a lot of women who are going through our free training program prior to the end of the year, which of course it's already finished now, but they will go into Christmas with an extra sparkle in their step, an extra skip in their step, just that little bit of confidence. And I feel like, what you said is so true. If you don't put yourself out there, if you don't get your product out there, if you don't get your service out there, it's one less person who's going to have that thing that only you can offer.
Can I just say something? I mean, I'm going to bring her in, but Meghan Markle, and I do really like her, and she said something once, is that women always had a voice, but now it's time for them to feel empowered to use it. And I know this isn't just about women here, but actually it is. We have a voice, we have views, we have knowledge, we have skills, we create beautiful products, we deliver amazing services, and we have passion for it. And we need to be really proud of that, to then, let other people know so they can share in that, but so that they can grow, so that they can sparkle, so that they can go off and go, do you know what? I'm going to buy your earring because it makes me feel wonderful, because I value me and I got something for me and I feel amazing wearing it. Or I'm going to work with you because actually I know that that's going to change my life and make something positive. I'm going to make something positive out of my life by working with you. And if we hide behind and we don't, showcase what we have to say, then actually we do a disservice to, God, this is big, but society. And so it's a good thing. So lives and videos are actually a good thing. And as you said, it's difficult for us to interact at the moment because of what's going on. But actually, it means that people can hear good things and grow and develop with us. So videos are really key. And going back to that thing, it's about testing it out and about trialing it and going, do you know what? This first time I did it, I didn't really like it, but the next time I do it will be a little bit better. And the next time I do it will be a little bit better. And most of those people out there have no idea that underneath the table, your legs are going like this, like a little swan, and above you're like this, And for the most part, nowadays, most people are just wearing really decent tops and their underwear because they're on Zoom or doing mobile. But who cares? It doesn't matter really, because it's more about what it is, the message that you're getting out there.
Well, and Sophie, when in doubt, right? Wear a Scampin' Dude top.
Yeah.
And when you need superpower, right? You just tap your superpower button.
Yeah, no, completely. I mean, there it is.
There it is, our superpower button.
It is there. And I always say, I believe in that. Every time I go on to do a video live, I put something nice on. I make myself feel better for it as well. And I think, do you know what? Yeah, go for this. Enjoy it. And if I don't like it, well, I'll learn from it and it will be
You can
okay.
always delete it. You can
and as Teresa always says, nothing bad really happened. Not really. It will be okay. So yeah.
Teresa's so good. So Teresa's our resident life coach, and she is just incredible. And she has a couple of those liners, right? Like whenever you say, "Oh, I'm trying," she'll be like, "Really, really, are you trying? Are you really trying?" That one got me, I think. Well, listen, Sophie, it has been incredible watching your journey. You did not, as far as I know, you didn't know anything about Instagram before you joined Tech Pixies, and now look at you, Instagram coach extraordinaire. Certainly one of the program features of Tech Pixies, and just so delighted to watch you in your journey. And just it's an incredible thing to watch. To see someone go from a student to being a master, to surpassing the master and really becoming her own. And you are absolutely that. And so many of our students love learning from you. And I know your customers and your clients adore you, and also the community that you've built up. So tell us where people can find you if they want to start connecting with you on Instagram and all that good stuff.
So I'm at Socially Sophie B. Always out there, ready to say hi, and that genuinely is true, actually. And I support small businesses and work predominantly in the South London area, but have an amazing community there of the South London biz community. So proud of them, so proud of them. But yeah, so that's where. Come and find me there, and we'll connect. But yes,
and what's the hashtag you guys use for the South London business?
So it's well, it changes each time that we do it, because we do an Instagram challenge every 6 months, and we had 50 businesses that were on it this time, and then we had a get together at the end of it, which was brilliant. But it's the South London Biz, and it was South London Biz Nov, so for November, and then it will be South London Biz probably March, so when we do it next time as well. But it's and that's what I talk about in terms of Instagram. It's community. Seriously, it really is. And you can do really well out of it on a business level as well, through using all these wonderful trends that we talked about. And they are exciting as well. I love it. I can't get enough of it. Seriously, it's a bit scary.
We love you. We can't get enough of you here at Tech Pixies. Thank you for your wonderful 2020-2021 trends update on Instagram. And I can't wait to see you in the group when we get going again in January.
Cool. Thank you so much, Joy. Take care.
Thank you.